My HOA Karen made just one tiny mistake the day she decided to destroy my life over a parking spot. She picked a fight with the wrong person, someone who investigates criminals for a living. There I was, 6 in the morning, steam curling off my coffee mug on the hood of my patrol car, getting ready to keep our county safe, breathing in that sharp, clean scent of dew on asphalt, hearing sprinklers clicking on along the block. Then, out of nowhere, here she comes, clogs crunching, robe flapping, hollering across the street like she's got a SWAT team behind her. "That eyesore doesn't belong in a family neighborhood," she shrieks, jabbing a finger at my sheriff's vehicle, acting like it's leaking radiation. Little did Brenda Worthington realize, she was calling the cops on the cops. I wish I could say I was surprised, but if you've ever had to deal with an HOA, you know the flavor. So, I gotta ask, what would you do if your HOA tried to tow your work car right out your own driveway? Seriously, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from, because I bet you've got HOA horror stories that make mine look like Disney. Let me back up a sec and paint you the picture. My name's Marcus Hendricks, and about 6 months back, I was just a regular deputy sheriff, except my whole life had just turned upside down. Lost my wife to cancer, burned through our savings, sold the dream house, and ended up here, Willowbrook Estates. 47 beige boxes, every lawn smells like pesticide and regret, and the HOA brochure practically promised step-forward level happiness, community standards, property values, all that. What it didn't mention was the neighborhood warden, Brenda Worthington. Soccer mom meets prison warden, clipboard for a heart, and the kind of woman who irons her jeans and alphabetizes her garden tools. Moved here after a messy divorce, still bitter about her lifestyle downgrade. She called herself the compliance coordinator, which, in plain English, meant she got paid to terrorize the rest of us into submission. The woman could spot a stray dandelion from 3 blocks away. For 6 months, I'd been parking my patrol car at home, just doing what any normal cop would do. Visibility, response time, all that. Crime had dropped 15% since I moved in. Most folks loved having a sheriff around, but not Brenda. She looked at my car like it was a meth lab on wheels. So that first morning, I tried reasoning with her. Explained the policy, the security benefit, the county rules about take-home vehicles. She hit me with a voice so syrupy it could have sent a diabetic into shock. "I don't care about your little policies. This is a family neighborhood with property values to protect. That commercial eyesore is a violation of HOA Covenant Section 4.2.1. The way she said commercial eyesore, you'd think I'd parked a garbage truck on her petunias. I tried again. Crime deterrent, insurance discounts, the works. "Are you threatening me?" she snapped, whipping out her phone like she was about to film an episode of Cops. Right then, it hit me. This wasn't about parking. It was about power. Brenda needed someone to boss around, and the new guy was a prime target. She had no idea who she was messing with. I'd spent 15 years dealing with bullies, and they all run the same playbook. They push, escalate, look for weakness. My twin girls, Emma and Sophie, watched the showdown from behind the curtains. "Is that mean lady gonna make us move again, Daddy?" Sophie asked later. I told her, "No, sweetheart, sometimes grown-ups just have to work stuff out." Yeah, that happened. Famous last words. 3 days later, I got a certified letter, formal complaint, 72 hours to comply, and she'd even copied my department chief. Brenda had declared war, but she had no idea I'd just been promoted, with access to more public records and databases than most people can dream of. And something about Brenda's whole act was ringing all kinds of alarm bells. You ever pull someone over who's just a little too nervous? That was Brenda. She was hiding something. Her certified letter was pure theater, official letterhead, thick paper, her signature curling like a villain's mustache. Violation of commercial vehicle rules, 72 hours to comply, or she'd escalate enforcement. And just to twist the knife, she sent it to my boss, probably hoping to get me fired. Big mistake, Brenda. I spent my lunch break digging through the HOA documents, stuff most people never even read. But tucked in the back was a section I remembered from my training, emergency vehicle exemptions. Clear as day, first responders were allowed. My response was pure legal poetry, polite, bulletproof, packed with statutes and county ordinances. I figured that'd be the end of it. I figured wrong. 48 hours later, Brenda was knocking doors like Paul Revere, warning everyone about the dangerous precedent of my patrol car. She whipped up a petition, 8 signatures out of 47 homes, but she strutted around like she spoke for the whole community. The petition demanded I stop parking my patrol car. While Brenda played politics, I did what sheriffs do. I investigated. Quick records check showed she'd done this before. Landscapers, RVs, old cars, garden gnomes, even Christmas lights. Different targets, same pattern. Folks who were different, folks who couldn't fight back. But Brenda picked the wrong person this time. That night, while the girls did homework, I dug deeper, pulled up county property records. Turns out Worthington and Associates, the property management company that handled all the HOA enforcement, had exactly one owner, Brenda. She was billing the neighborhood for every violation, every compliance fee, every minute spent measuring grass. She'd turned harassment into a business. So I started building a case. Because while Brenda played dictator, she forgot sheriffs don't just enforce laws. We investigate people who break them. Her next move was pure kamikaze. Code enforcement showed up at my door with complaints about me running an unlicensed security business. I laughed so hard I snorted coffee through my nose. The poor city inspector checked a few boxes, shook my hand, and left, but not before telling me Brenda had filed 6 false reports that year. She was a professional complainer. The political heat started to build. My chief called me in, looking about as comfortable as a man sitting on a porcupine. "Marcus, we know this is crap, but the county commissioner wants it resolved quietly. Maybe just park at the station for now." That's when I realized Brenda wasn't trying to win legally. She was just trying to make my life so miserable I'd give up. But a sheriff who caves to a bully isn't a sheriff anyone respects. My neighbor Jennifer showed up that night. She's a nurse, single mom, and tougher than half the guys at my station. She brought a casserole and a look that could peel paint. Emergency meeting, my place. 8 o'clock. 7 neighbors showed up, folks Brenda had targeted. Garden gnomes, Christmas lights, mailbox numbers, didn't matter. Each violation came with a suggested contractor to fix it. Know who owned those companies? Brenda. I remembered a financial crime seminar I'd taken. When someone creates problems just to sell solutions, that's organized fraud. So we documented everything. Every violation, every contractor, every dollar. Friday morning, Brenda called an emergency board meeting. At 2 p.m., when most people were working. Her agenda was vague, but everyone knew what it meant. She stacked the room with her cronies and gave a PowerPoint show straight out of a propaganda textbook. Slides about dangerous law enforcement vehicles, fake stats on plummeting home values, photos making my patrol car look like an APC parked at a preschool. When my turn came, I stuck to the facts: state law, crime stats, community benefits. 0 break-ins, 0 drug activity, 0 domestic disputes since I moved in. Didn't matter. The board voted 3-2 for daily $500 fines until I complied. Brenda grinned as she handed me the notice. Her strategy was simple: fine me until I left. But I had other plans. That afternoon, I pulled 3 years of HOA records, $23,000 in admin fees to Worthington and Associates. Invoices synced with every violation campaign. It was fraud, pure and simple. Then I found the smoking gun, a bankruptcy filing from the original developer. It showed the HOA had never been legally transferred to the homeowners. Brenda and her company had 0 authority. Every fee, every fine, every violation illegal. I called the state fraud division. The next week, everything hit the fan: media stories, angry neighbors, more bogus violation notices, and Brenda's Facebook victory lap. But the walls were closing in. State and federal investigators were already pulling her financials. FBI white-collar crime unit was on speed dial. The annual HOA meeting became a showdown. Willowbrook Elementary's auditorium packed out. Brenda swaggered to the podium in her power suit, preaching about protecting the community. I stood, folder in hand, and called her out. Explained the bankruptcy, the fake authority, the missing elections. State investigators in the back flashed their badges, and Brenda's face went pale. "Brenda Worthington, you're under arrest for organized fraud, mail fraud, and racketeering." The cuffs clicked and the room exploded. Some folks cried, some cheered. The same sheriff's car Brenda tried to ban? That's what took her away. Turns out, she'd been running this scam in other neighborhoods, too. 12, in fact. Our case blew up her entire criminal empire. We got restitution, over $400,000 returned, plus damages. Jennifer became HOA president. The garden gnomes came back, the Christmas lights never came down, and crime vanished for good. My patrol car sits right where it belongs now, and my girls? They learned that bullies only win if good people do nothing. We started a scholarship with the recovered money. Maria Santos's daughter was the first recipient, and her essay about what real justice looks like made grown cops cry. A year later, Willowbrook threw a block party that drew folks from all over. Mrs. Patterson kept her soup deliveries going, Harold's gnome army grew, and Dr. Kim's community garden bloomed, where Brenda's contractor shed used to rot. We rebuilt everything Brenda had tried to destroy. The moral? When good people stick together, bullies get crushed. When law enforcement serves justice instead of ego, everyone wins, except the ones who deserve to lose. So, now it's your turn. Tell me your worst HOA horror story down in the comments, where you're watching from, and how you stood up to neighborhood tyranny. Hit that like if you believe in real justice. The best defense against HOA craziness? Community, and maybe a cop who knows his way around a paper trail. Thanks for listening. Here's to standing up, fighting back, and never letting the Brendas of the world win.